Good afternoon. My name is Shumaila Osman, and I am Third Secretary at the Embassy of Pakistan, Copenhagen. On behalf of the Embassy and the Ambassador of Pakistan, I would like to welcome you all to this seminar on tourism opportunities in Pakistan. We have participants who have joined us through video link from Pakistan, and we appreciate your presence in the event. Pakistan offers vast opportunities for tourism, and today we are going to focus on the Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral regions in the north of Pakistan. I would now request Ambassador Ahmed Farooq to come to the podium for his opening remarks.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to extend all of you a warm welcome. Those who have joined us physically and here in Denmark, and especially in that regard, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Muhammad Ali, who has come all the way from Pakistan, and Mr. Suren Monde, who has traveled from Jutland. So thank you very much for being here. And I would also like to acknowledge all the participants who have joined us virtually, both from Pakistan as well as from Denmark. We appreciate your presence here today, and we hope that this event will help in promoting, providing you opportunities for business and tourism related in Pakistan, as well as give you key insights into what Pakistan offers. I had previously some discussions with several of you, and this is actually the first opportunity that we are getting here together to find out, the more specific details. The objective of this event is primarily to introduce to you what opportunities Pakistan offers in tourism, and also to connect you with our authorities as well as tour operators, so that you can explore, you can ask questions, and you can also explore some business links. From what I understand in my stay here in Denmark, there is an interest in Pakistan, but at the same time, there is a lack of information and certain misperceptions about the country, which we want to address through events like this. I arrived here at the end of April last year, and one of my key focus has been to develop people-to-people contacts, because we believe that that is very important for strengthening the bilateral relations between the two countries. We have good political relations, but at the same time, we also want better people-to-people contacts. So no better way than for people to travel to each other's country and to see the cultures and explore the places. Pakistan is a large and diverse country, and we believe we offer all that any tourist could hope for seeing in one country, from mountains to deserts to the sea coast, ancient civilizations, culture, opportunities for adventure tourism. So you ask, you think of anything, Pakistan provides you an answer with. Pakistan has 4 distinct seasons. So that means we offer you year-round opportunities of tourism. You just have to select the right season of the year to visit a particular part of the country. Normally, the mountain tourism that takes place between the months of May and until October, while the period from October until April is best suited for visiting the central and southern parts of Pakistan. Pakistan hosts some of the most ancient civilizations in the world. We have the 5,000-year-old Indus Valley civilization, which is centered around the cities of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. And at the same time, we also have the Gandhara civilization, which is it's centered on the city of Taxila near Islamabad, but the Gandhara ruins can be found, in various parts of the north of the country. Our museums, we have very fine museums. They are located in Taxila, in Lahore, in Karachi, Peshawar, Shandur Sharif. They host a vast range of antiquities that offer you insights into these civilizations. Pakistan was also part of the Mughal Empire, which flourished in South Asia between the 16th and the 19th centuries. And many buildings built in that period are present in Pakistan. The best ones you can see are in the historic city of Lahore, which was an important center of the Mughal Empire. But as we move south in the country, you come across different cultural and social influences. So you have you see the Sufi shrines in Uch Sharif and in Multan. And if you travel further south in the country, you see the historic, the old necropolis at Makli, near the city of Thatta in Sindh province of Pakistan. Pakistan also offers a wide range of cuisine in different parts of the country, each with its distinct flavor and ingredients which the tourists can enjoy. However, the most well-known part of Pakistan for the international community are mountains in the north. We in the north, we have the three great mountain ranges of the Himalayas, the Karakoram, and the Hindu Kush. So we have 5 out of the 14 8,000 meter high peaks, and over 90 peaks which are 7,000 meters high. And these attract trekkers and mountaineers from all parts of the world. The mountains in the north have lush green alpine valleys, glacier-fed lakes. You also see some rare animals there, such as the snow leopard, the markhor, which is also the national animal of Pakistan, and the Himalayan brown bear. We have in Gilgit-Baltistan the Deosai National Park, and this park is one of the richest tourist spots in the country. It has an average elevation of over 4,000 meters and is spread over an area of 843 square kilometers. So the park has a rich flora and fauna, animal species, and is a beautiful place to visit, especially in the spring season when you see a lot of flowers there. Then there is the Hunza Valley, which many of you are familiar with. It is again one of the most exotic and picturesque locations in Pakistan. It has several 7,000 meter high peaks, and especially the most spectacular is the Rakaposhi Peak. When you visit Hunza, you visit Karimabad, which is the capital of Hunza district, and you can see the 800-year-old Baltid fort. Hunza offers sights, beautiful sights in spring as well as in fall. It has beautiful fall foliage. If we move towards the east in this region, you go to the Skardu Valley. And the Skardu Valley is at the confluence of the Shigar and the Indus rivers. It is surrounded by the Karakoram mountains and has several beautiful lakes around it, such as the Satpara Lake, the upper and the lower Kachura lakes. The important sites that one must see are the Shingrila Resort, the Shigar Valley, So, I mean, Skardu is again an important spot for tourists to visit in Pakistan. Tourists that visit that region also have the opportunity of driving up the world famous Karakoram highway right up to the border with China, which culminates at the Punjab Pass. So this is a picture of the Sust post, which marks the border between Pakistan and China. So the North also offers a variety of adventure tourism options, so which includes trekking, mountaineering, rock climbing, paragliding, whitewater rafting. If you move east of Gilgit-Baltistan, we have the Chitral and the Kailash Valleys. Again, they have their unique sceneries, and you can enjoy different cultural experiences there, such as the Shandur Polo Festival. So this is the highest polo ground in the world at an elevation of 3,500 meters. And you can also witness the ancient traditions of the Kailash people, who are said to be the descendants of Alexander the Great. In terms of logistics, all these three locations are very well connected. They have airports which have direct flights from the capital city, Islamabad. But there are also good road connections for the more adventurous tourists. These territories can be combined into maybe a single trip of 2 to 3 weeks or several shorter trips, so depending on the preference of the travelers. In terms of the support which the embassy is providing to visiting tourists from Pakistan, the most important thing is the visa. In this year, we have made our visa process very easy. It's completely online. So you apply for visa through a link on our website. The e-visa gets processed and is delivered to the applicant by email. So nobody needs to come to the embassy or submit their passports. It's completely done remotely. Another issue that I would like to raise here is that we understand that there are certain concerns with regards to the travel advisory which the Danish government has for Pakistan, which we understand creates difficulties for tour operators in sending tourists to Pakistan. But in recent times, many European countries have revised their travel advisory. So these include France, Germany, the United Kingdom. The United States has revised its travel advisory, and they only restrict travel to certain parts of Pakistan, whereas most of the country, they have now declared safe for travel. So we are in discussions with the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs about this, on the need for them to also revise their travel advisory in light of the improved security situation, and we hope that in the coming period, this travel advisory will be revised. The last point I would like to mention here is that we have been in discussion with some tour operators regarding the possibility of organizing a sponsored visit to these regions that we are discussing today. In that regard, we have been, one of our potential partners is Qatar Airways, and their representative Karen has joined us virtually. So we are in discussion with them, and we are looking for the right window in which this visit can take place. In Pakistan, the Serena hotel chain, which is the largest hotel chain of Pakistan, they have already agreed to sponsor this visit. So we think that the possible window could be towards maybe the second half of March, before the tourist season starts in this region. So we can discuss that during the discussion part of this event. And once again, I thank all of you for joining us for this event, and we look forward to a very good discussion. Thank you.
I would now request Mr. Raja Rashidali, Secretary of the Gilgit-Baltistan Tourism Department, to give a presentation about the tourism infrastructure in the region. His presentation will be followed by a short video clip.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Ambassador of Pakistan to Denmark and all who have come for this session. I'd be brief and precise, as some of the points have already been covered by our Honorable Ambassador. I'll be specific to Gilgit-Baltistan, and as I'll not be talking about the other areas of Pakistan. Gilgit-Baltistan is a unique place in the sense that it has got a historical base in history. The Silk Route that used to come from China across Central Asia and to Middle East, that used to pass through this area. So it has got an historical route as well. So that makes it even unique in its kind. This is the map of Gilgit-Baltistan. Since 2009, it is working. It's functioning as an independent province. China is situated in the north of Gilgit-Baltistan, and Indian-controlled Kashmir and Azad Jammu Kashmir are in the east. Chitral is in the west. It is part of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Swat and Khoistan. And in the south, it's linked with Naran Valley, and in the south, the rest of the other plains. And it comprises about 72,496 square kilometers, mostly mountainous. We are administratively functioning as 3 divisions and 10 districts. The 3 divisions are Gilgit, Diamar, and Skardu, and the districts are Gilgit, Skardu, Ganche, Rizar, Diamar, Astor, Kharmang, Shigar, Hunza, and Nagar. Some of them have already been touched. Next, please. This is, as I said, that China has a very important project that is going to be launched here, and some of its parts has already been launched. That's called the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So it's the gateway. And then secondly, it is the largest province of rock art in the world, having linkages with the Buddhist and other old cultures of 1st century and 5th and 6th century. When you talk about mountains, it is a confluence of great mountains. We have, out of the 14, we have 5 8,000ers, the 2nd and the 9th. They are very prominent. K2, the 2nd, and Nanga Parbat being the 9th. And then with that, 101 above 7,000 meters mountains are here in Gilgit-Baltistan. Next, please. For the country, it is strategically important, as it is the water storage of the country, and there is potential of investment as well, that it can generate roughly more than 50,000 megawatt of hydropower. Then it is rich with minerals, rare earth, and precious stones, and it has the potential of linking to the Central and West Asia. The people are very much hospitable, and tourism is going on before even partition in this part of the world. And many documentaries have been made by the National Geographic Society and other worldly renowned magazines and other organizations. Next, please. As it was mentioned, the most famous 3 mountain chains, then there are 5,100 glaciers. Amongst them, the Siachen, Batura, Biafo, Hisper, Balturo, and Pasu. They are very important in the sense that they are more than 40 kilometers long. And most of the area, there is 200 and 200 square miles that is mostly covered with snow. We have 119 wetlands and lakes and 7 national parks. Next, please. The nature biodiversity 230 species of birds, 54 species of mammals, 20 species of freshwater fish, and the forest that constitutes about 2,816 square kilometers of the area. Next, please. For adventure, there is mountaineering, trekking, paragliding, skiing, trophy hunting, whitewater rafting, and fish angling. Especially, I'd focus as in winter is approaching here, so trophy hunting of markhors and Himalayan ibex and blue sheep. That is one of the potential for gaming here. Culturally, next please. Culturally, there are, it's also very much distinct in the sense that there are 5 languages. They are very much different from one another. Shina, Balti, Brushiski, Wahi, and Kuar. Some of them are endangered languages, but they are spoken here with 36 dialects. English is also spoken by a wide range of people here, and of course, Urdu is the national language, so everybody speaks and understands Urdu. There are 23 historical forts and 75 polo grounds, 74 archaeological sites. That also gives a very good ground for those who are interested in languages, culture, and anthropology and archaeology. Next, please. We are celebrating and inviting different tourists from the country and outside the country, and we have a year-long festivals like Khalti Ice Hockey Festival, Tokhum Rezi, that means a sowing festival, Spring Blossom to welcome the spring season, Nowroz Festival, Tour de Khunjra, cycling through, on cycles, the people go to Khunjra Pass. That is from about 5,000 feet to 15,500 feet. The Khunjra Pass is 15,500 feet above sea level. And then Shandur Festival, Ginani Festival, that is harvesting festival. And then Satfaranga Desert Jeep Rally and Drama Festival and Mefang Festival. These are different cultural and seasonal functions that attract people. And we have very sweet music, indigenous music with sitar and harip. Harip is the drum and pipe and the dholak and tabla and all the stuff. And we have a very old culture of hospitality and acceptance of visitors. Next, please. Mountaineering, trekking, cultural tourism, business and commercial tourism, and research and sport, these are some of the areas where interested individuals, tourists can come and then enjoy in Gilgit-Baltistan. In terms of infrastructure, next please. There are 2 domestic airports that are accessed from Islamabad and now from Lahore and Karachi as well. They are situated in Skardu and Gilgit. The Karakoram Highway, that is called the 8th wonder of the world, constructing back in 1976. It comes from Havelian, starts, though it's linked with Islamabad, and goes up to Khunjra top to China. And then there is Kagan Naran Road. That national highway road is open from June to October. Then Gilgit Jaglot Skardu Road, that is being improved nowadays. And we have got more than about 700 hotels and with 5,000 beds. So with this, I would like to thank you all, and we would go to show you a short 5 minutes video that would also introduce Gilgit-Baltistan to you. Thank you very much for listening.
Our next speaker is Mr. Muhammad Ali, Director Adventure Pakistan, and he will give a short presentation on behalf of the Gilgit-Baltistan Association of Tour Operators on the opportunities for collaboration with our tour operators.
His Excellency Mehmet Farooq, Ambassador, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Secretary Tourism, Rashid Ahmed, friends in Denmark here, friends attending this conference virtually in Pakistan. On behalf of Gilgit-Baltistan Association of Tour Operators, I welcome you all to this beautiful event. And here I would like to thank especially to His Excellency Ahmed Farooq for giving us this wonderful opportunity to interact with Danish tour operators and to show some highlights of Pakistan. His Excellency wonderfully explained about Pakistan in general and Gilgit-Baltistan in particular, and also Secretary Tourism, Mr. Rashid Ahmed, explained about Gilgit-Baltistan in this infrastructure and tourism potential of tourism. Here I would like to just quickly summarize some of the main highlights without taking much time, as I'm very aware that it's a shortage of time. It's the Pakistan general facts and figures. It's Islamic Republic of Pakistan created in 1947. Its population is more than 200 million people.
Yes.
It's a map of Pakistan. It's northern area. Gilgit-Baltistan is bordering with China and India in north. It's a map of northern North Pakistan map. About Gilgit-Baltistan, the red main line you see is Silk or main Karakoram highway connecting China and Pakistan. Pakistan's main selling points as a tour operator. Pakistan has offered vibrant culture, incredible natural landscapes, mountains, valleys, history and heritage of from Indus Valley civilizations to the Mughal Empire or Indus Valley civilization. Main sites of Indus Valley civilization, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa in South Pakistan. Gandhara civilization, Silk Route, geography and climate in the south. We have best time to travel for the south is mostly in winters, because in summer it's too hot to travel to the southern part. Karakoram highway and motorway. South. These are some main highlights of southern Pakistan. South. Lahore is the capital of Punjab province and vibrant city. Northern Pakistan main highlights: Rakaposhi, Ladyfinger, and the mountains. K2 track is the most famous track in Pakistan. Snow Lake is another attraction connecting Skardu Valley with Nagar and Hunza. Hunza, Karimabad, Balti Fort, and all ancient forts. Valleys up in newly formed Madawat Lake. These are the heritage hotels. We have basic tourist class hotels, then 5-star hotel chains, and also heritage hotels. These were the old forts converted to heritage 5-star luxury hotels by Serena Hotel chain in north. This is Nanga Parvat, 9th highest peak on earth. Gandhara civilization, and this is Polo, Chitral, Kalash, main festival and events. So, on behalf of Gilgit-Baltistan tour operators, our members are providing high-class tourist facilities, services to people coming from all over the world to Gilgit-Baltistan. We have the capabilities, human resource, infrastructure, and all expertise to provide tourist services to the tourists visiting Pakistan. Thank you very much.
I would next request Mr. Soren Bonde from Norma Tours to come to podium. Mr. Bonde has recently visited the region that we are talking about today and would like to hear from him his experiences of the trip.
Thank you very much. Since I'm speaking number 4 or 5 or 6 in line, I might just freestyle a little more than I planned. But I actually made a short presentation that I wanted to show you. But you've already seen many of these photos before, so I might just go through them quite quickly. I'm the director of the Danish agency Panorama Travel, and we do tours to destinations which don't see that high influx of tourists. I've seen many places in Central Asia, Afghanistan, all the stans actually. We have them on our list. And recently I went to Pakistan this year actually during April and May. I spent close to 4 weeks in Pakistan and I enjoyed every minute of it. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what I saw up there. So this is the route I followed together with a colleague. We traveled in the middle of the pandemic, so maybe we saw even fewer tourists than we would normally see in Pakistan. But I'm still under the impression that Pakistan doesn't see that many tourists, and we saw even fewer. We flew with Qatar Airways to Islamabad, and from there we traveled by car all the way around. We traveled first to Peshawar, which I actually enjoyed very much, quite a traditional historical city as well, but close to Afghanistan border. And from there we traveled all the way north to the famous places of Kailash and Hunza valleys up to Chitral. And then we headed east, as you can see, towards the Shandur Pass in Gilgit. And from there we went up to the border with China, the Hunza Pass, back down again through the Hunza Valley, of course, Islamabad. And then we went out further east to Skardu, Shiga, Hablu, all these places out there. So I have a lot of photos. I will just show you some of them that I brought with me, and I will do a brief talk on the way. Islamabad itself, we didn't spend much time in the capital actually. Our main focus was the extreme north and all the beautiful scenery to meet the people. But I believe that Islamabad itself has much to offer as well. I found it a nice city, quite green and orderly city. It has some historical sites and religious sites as well, famous mosque. But the main focus of the trip was the mountains in the north, especially going from Chitral towards Masduj to Fanda Lake, all these places in the west. There are some incredible scenery, really. And we traveled by our own car, so we could stop anywhere we wanted, and that's highly recommended. There is not much public transport in these places anyway, and having your own car, you can stop wherever you want. We found people very friendly. All the locals greeted us with curiosity and hospitality. And this scenery is amazing, especially coming from a flat place like Denmark. This is a huge contrast. Next photos are from the Shandur Pass. We came quite early, late April. I believe the pass is closed most of the year due to high snowfall. the Polo Festival, the famous polo ground up here that we already heard about. We came too early for that, but yeah, this time of year it's covered in snow, but the road is still open. And then you come towards the Thunder Lake, you come towards Gilgit, Hunza Valley, Karimabad, which is very famous. Rakaposhi, we heard about earlier as well. And the good thing about this part of Pakistan is that many of these incredible mountains, famous mountains, they are very accessible even from afar, like Rakaposhi and Nanga Parbat. You can see them from the road actually, Mashadrum as well. Hunza Valley itself is a very beautiful place. Maybe one of the most famous places in Pakistan. Many traditions are still well kept, but you can feel the tourism is coming slowly as well. We saw only domestic tourists actually, tourists from India and Pakistan mostly. And there are some historical highlights as well, as we already heard. The Altit Fort, Baltic forts in Karimabad. Some are UNESCO sites. They're very well restored and preserved. And Karimabad is a very good base to explore the neighboring valleys as well, as we did. The old part of Karimabad is still worth a visit. Old alleyways, old people, old mosques as well, also protected by UNESCO. And the Naga Valley and the Hopa Glacier or Baltic Glacier is one of the famous glaciers of Pakistan. Again, this one is very accessible. You can just go by car on a small road to the end of the road. You get to a small village, and from there you can enjoy the glacier from above, or you can walk down on the glacier. We did both. The time of traveling, well, it depends what you prefer. I think most tourists would arrive during our summer, June, July, August, maybe. But actually, I found this time of year quite beautiful with all the flowering trees, apricot trees, cherry trees. So this is what I would call maybe the shoulder season, as well as September, October, I would believe would be a beautiful season as well with all the colors. If you have time, you should definitely make a stop in the villages, visit the locals, get inside. But from here we go north, we go up towards the famous Hunza Pass, part of the old Silk Road, which have traveled extensively all the way around actually from China to the Middle East. I've seen the places from the other side of the mountain, and this time I saw them from the Pakistani side, which was amazing. The mountains of the Pamirs in Tajikistan and Afghanistan, they're also very high mountains and beautiful. In Pakistan, it becomes bigger, becomes a little more majestic, I would say. We didn't meet a single car going up to the pass, which is probably out of the ordinary because the border was closed to China because of the pandemic. Again, lots of snow up here, but usually the pass is kept open to traffic. Used to be lots of Chinese trucks coming down and yeah, trucks going the other way into China, of course. So this is one of the famous passes and famous borders in the world, one of the highest roads in the world actually, close to 5,000 meters. So from here, we go back to Karimabad, down to Gilgit, and we go east to Skardu. And this was the last part of our trip. We spent quite a lot of time in Skardu. I climbed a small peak, Mount Iqbal, 5,000 meters, and that's a very small peak in Pakistan. Fantastic roads again. It takes a little more patience to go to Skardu unless you fly, of course. The road is under construction. They try to widen it, they try to repair it. This is part of it. You might experience some delays because of many trucks and the bad road condition, but I believe the road will be in much better condition end of this year. Next year, they plan to have it finished. Shandur has few places of interest in the city itself, but it's an important hub for traffic, for flights into the region. But the sceneries here is very different. The landscapes are not just high mountains, they are deserts, they are big plains. Change a lot actually. And here you can have a base in Shandur, you can go to the other small villages in the area and explore all the side valleys. Also home to the famous Indus River passing through the region. And here you have kind of floodplains, you have deserts, you have high mountains, everything in a very small area. And again, the picture of Serena Hablu Palace from the 19th century, very beautifully restored in a Tibetan style. Now it acts as a hotel. Earlier on, it was the residence of the Mir, the local king. This is a very nice place to stay. And on all our trips, we try to meet the local people, maybe share a meal or talk to them, to hear about the local traditions and the everyday life. Here it's in the Shandur Valley as well. We were very well received. And the thing about Pakistan, as we already heard from the ambassador introducing it, it's a reputation problem with Pakistan that we have. We didn't feel unsafe or insecure at any time on our trip. But I know that some people, they have heard some misinformation about the country, just the way we hear things about Afghanistan before the Taliban took over. So we have to fight this, I think, to make people come to Pakistan to understand that this is not a dangerous place, and there is some work for us to do. For our company, I think it might be a little bit easier because we send people to destinations which are normally not visited. Places like Iran, even Afghanistan before the Taliban, South Sudan, unusual places. So our clients are not that skeptical as they usually are. But still, it would be very nice if we could have some of these restrictions lifted. The Hunza Valley is one of the largest valleys that you can visit in the Shandur area. From here, trekking and mountaineering expeditions are launched to Mashabrum and K2 and other places. So this was a short presentation from me and my experience in April and May this year. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Mr. Fajahat Malik. Mr. Malik is a renowned adventure and travel filmmaker and TV presenter. He has made several documentaries about the tourism potential in Pakistan. He is also a poet and has recently published a compilation of poems that is attracting a lot of attention in Pakistan. Mr. Malik will be speaking about the cultural experience in this region and about paragliding.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me and see me. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hello everyone. My name is Wajahat Malik, and like I was introduced as an adventure travel filmmaker. I've been roaming around Pakistan for ages now. I've visited pretty much every nook and corner of this country. Actually, I am present right now in Karimabad, Hunza. I'm here to shoot a documentary film about Jalavans, who are gold panning gypsies that the world has forgotten about. Actually, the world doesn't even know about them. So that's the documentary film that I'm shooting. A lot has been said earlier about Pakistan and its potential. We have a lot to offer, and believe me, talking to the Danes, I'll tell you that Pakistan is extremely different from Denmark. If you want to plan to come to Pakistan, you will be surprised by what we have to offer. In the north, we have the mountains, then we have deserts and the coast in the south, like Mr. Ahmed Farooq told you. And then we are diverse. We have many different cultures. We have history. We have oldest civilizations in the world. There's a lot of religions that actually spawned from Pakistan, back now what is Pakistan, but from the land where we are situated. So there is a lot that can be explored. I'll be very brief because I don't want to bore you. I just talk from my experience that as a Pakistani making documentary films related to adventure and tourism, I've been going all over the place. And first of all, let me start with people. The people of Pakistan are extremely hospitable, very curious, especially in the past 20 years. We haven't been getting much tourism because of, after 9/11, things have been not the same as they were before in this region because of Afghanistan and all that. So there's a lot of curiosity, and people have not seen foreigners for a very long time. So when you come to Pakistan, they actually welcome you. They welcome you into their houses for tea, and they really love to help you. So you will encounter a lot of hospitality in this country. I mean, unlike many other countries which have been commercialized in terms of tourism, like Thailand and Nepal and many other countries, we still by default haven't reached that point yet. So perfect time to come to Pakistan before it gets commercialized. Secondly, if you are looking for adventure, this is the place to be. In the mountains, we have the highest mountains in the world. We have longest glaciers in the world. We have sport of paragliding, mountain climbing, trekking, whitewater rafting, you name it. And you will find places that are still wild and unexplored in Pakistan. Then there are amazing mountain communities that you might not have come across anywhere else in the world because they're very unique to this region. Like I said, Jalavans. These are gypsy people who actually traveled from down south hundreds of years ago into the mountains looking for gold, and they got lost here. Really, really interesting people. Nobody has ever worked on them, in terms of and from the point of view of anthropology or ethnography. So you can actually pan gold with these panners who are all over the northern areas and can be found along the rivers, along the highways. Then we have the Kalasha people in the northwest of Pakistan, in Chitral region. People who are animists, pagans, who still practice paganism for the past thousands of years, and they are like an island, a pagan island in this Islamic Republic of Pakistan. They have extremely bizarre rituals and the way the women dress and completely different from the rest of the Pakistan. Found in Kalash Valley. So the valley is beautiful. The people are really interesting. Then we have the Balti people in northeast who are related to the Tibetan stock, because the Baltistan region, where we have the highest mountains in the world, like K2, is also called as Little Tibet. So the Balti people have their own traditions, and very much like the Tibetan people. Then we have the Hunza people in the Hunza Valley, and they are also very interesting because they've been written about in the novels, and they've been written in the many travel books about the longevity of their lives and the fruits they have and the beautiful mountains they have and the spring colors and then the blossoms. And so, I mean, mountains, you have everything. If you want to make a documentary film about the mountains of the world, and you want to come to Pakistan and film the mountains here, you'll find them really interesting. Culture is interesting. If you're looking for religious tourism, you can find the Buddhist civilization here. The Sikh religion was founded in what we have now, Pakistan. Basically, it is an interesting country. You just have to come and find out for yourself. And the speaker earlier before me said, it is safe. We've gotten a lot of bad reputation because we were in the news for a very long time. So a lot of misinformation has been spread about us in the media. But times have changed. There were times when things were a bit dicey, but now the country is extremely safe. You can travel around. You won't feel threatened at all. And the visa process has been made easy. There can be issues, but they're minor issues, and that any tourist can encounter anywhere in the world. But other than that, it's an exciting country. It's a different country. It is interesting because people don't know much about it. And once they come to Pakistan, that's when their eyes open and they're like, we were fed so much misinformation. I don't know what else I can think of, but just gave you an overview of the people. And then, of course, we have a lot in the south part of Pakistan, in the central part of Pakistan, in terms of religions and cultures and civilizations and architecture and different communities. We also have in the southernmost part of Pakistan, in the Gwadar region, which is like a beautiful coastal area in Pakistan, which is we have these people who were brought by the traders and from Arabia, and they have this community of Makranis who look very African, and so from the coast of Gwadar we have African looking people all the way to Hunza Valley, where we have blue-eyed and blonde-looking people. There is so much diversity in between, and it is amazing. So for all the Danes, I would say there's a lot that you can come and do in Pakistan, and you'll enjoy your stay here. So please do come. Thank you very much. I'm done here.
Thank you.
Our final speaker of the day is one of the most renowned international mountaineers, Mr. Nazir Sabe. Mr. Sabe is a native of Gilgit-Baltistan and has, during 28 years of epic climbing, climbed K2 in 1981, the first person to ascend from the West Ridge, Gasherbrum Group, and Broad Peak in 1982. He has become the first Pakistani to summit Mount Everest in 2000. Besides this, Mr. Sabe is a passionate environmentalist, nature photographer, and has been widely traveling to deliver lectures about his adventure exploits in his home mountains and promoting Pakistan as a tourism destination that he calls Asia's best kept secret. Mr. Sabe was also awarded the National Award of Sitara-e-Imtiaz. He will speak about mountaineering and trekking.
Thank you very much for this lovely introduction. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can also switch on your camera.
is already switched on, sir.
नजीर साहब कैमरा ऑन कर लें.
कैमरा ऑन है भाई.
नहीं ऑन नहीं है, नजर नहीं आ रहे आप.
Really? आगे से अपना.
कैमरे के साइड पे क्रॉस आ रहा होगा, उसको आप जरा अगर दोबारा क्लिक टच करें तो वो ऑन हो जाएगा. जी, अब आप.
Yes.
Here we are. My apologies. Thank you very much for this lovely introduction. And first of all, I'd like to pay my personal gratitude to Your Excellency Ahmed Farooq Sahab, and everyone who has spoken before me has made my life easier, because I don't have to speak about what we have in this one of the most beautiful pieces of land that we call Pakistan today. And after all these wonderful presentations, by starting with His Excellency Rashid Sahab, Secretary Tourism, and my other colleagues, I think I personally, having spent some 28 years, climbing up and down the wonderful Karakorums, mainly in Himalaya, I started, earning bread and butter out of tourism, because I didn't know anything else better. But over the years, Pakistan has seen very little tourism in terms of what it deserves for what it has, all the way from the virgin beaches to the most fascinating human history. And like Gandhara and Mohenjo-daro, and then the people and the landscape, and above all, the mountains that Pakistan is blessed with. I think it all goes back to our own policies, but more than that, unfortunately, because of our geographical location, the geopolitical situation in this region has not been, in 74 years of life of Pakistan, not been tourism friendly. But there are times also, like before, I still remember as a guide, I guided a trekking team from Denmark up the Batura Glacier, one of the largest glaciers. And also I remember a wonderful team of rock climbers coming from Denmark and climbing Trango Tower, which is one of the highest rock spires in the country in 1984. I don't remember the names, but they climbed it, and unfortunately there was a tragedy also on the way back. They had a rock fall and 2 climbers were killed. So we have seen those golden age of tourism from time to time. But going back again, what Pakistan has as a potential tourism destination, I think from that piece cake that we should be having from the world tourism market, not even 5% has been realized till today. The domestic tourism has, from 2015, has increased potentially, even threatening some of the valleys, cultures and stuff, because we were not prepared. It is beyond my understanding how the domestic tourism came just as a boom. In like 2014, we had probably only 10,000 domestic tourists, while the next year in 2015, we witnessed 1.2 million tourists. And I really hope we are able to cope with it, taking care of our environment, cultures, and everything else that quite often such a tsunami of tourism threatens. Well, again, talking about thankfully, the present government, Prime Minister Imran Khan has been outgoing in his policies in terms of especially visa policy as the country become in the history of the country one of the most friendly tourism policies, visa policies. So we are, of course, 3 years ago, if you asked me, I would not be able to tell like Malik before me said, by default, Pakistan has been left out of this tourism activity because of the very political dimensions here. But at the same time, I think this best kept secret in the South Asia has a lot to offer. Like many of my speakers, colleagues said, you know, there are so many places which are still not visited, and there are mountains which are not climbed. Even there are peaks above 7,000 meters which still, and the beaches down south will remain virgin for a while. Hopefully the Chinese will develop the beaches in the coming years. I personally think other than everything else, what Pakistan needs to do is to plan some events like Visit Pakistan Year, at least 2-3 years in advance, so that the international tourism market is aware of Pakistan sitting and waiting here with all its amazing potentials. We need to do more emphasis on the these. There are some adventure tourism policies that are the policies need to be trickled down, looking at the vision of the Prime Minister. There are small areas where we need to be more careful and execute those policies. I, as a lucky Pakistani who was born deep in the Hunza Valley, obviously Pakistan sits on top of, I've been lucky to travel around 26 countries, but I think Pakistan has all the potential, like someone else said, to be a year-round destination. I still remember in 80s, we were not very clever in promoting the southern areas like Mohenjo-daro, somewhere in summer, which is ideally a winter tourism destination. And as Secretary Rashid Ahmad Sahab said, you know, the North is now offering activities around the year, although the ideal tourism time for climbers and trekkers who go the higher is from somewhere between middle of May till end of October, or even all the way into November. But then there are other activities start, like develop skiing to that extent, although we have great potentials for it. And hopefully people are working with the Pakistani Air Force, whose domain ran for quite a while, and everyone else is following. So Pakistan has every potential. Like Malik said, it opens your eyes once you come here. But unfortunately, the international media has not been very friendly, but we had all the excuses for them to offer because things have not been politically too friendly after 9/11 especially. But thankfully for last 6-7 years, thanks to our army and every individual in Pakistan who fought for a peaceful country. And today we are able to invite you with open heart and arms to Pakistan to visit anywhere in Pakistan. It's one of the most peaceful places right now. I think that's all I have to say. Like I said, everyone has already explained that we have in a very beautiful manner presentations. And lastly, again, I would like to thank you, Your Excellency, for this opportunity here, and thank you everyone for being patient listening. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Nazir sir, for your contribution. So now we can take some questions, or if there are any additional comments that any of the participants would like to make. I would like to acknowledge here that virtually we have participation from Victor Farm, which is one of the big tour operator of Denmark, and then we also have here Ms. Karen, who is the representative of Qatar Airways. And then I would like to acknowledge that we have a representative from the Political newspaper, which is one of the largest Danish newspapers. So if if you would like to make if you have any questions or any comments, so we have Mr. Zahid Bhatt. I would just say briefly that he is a second generation Pakistani, person of Pakistani heritage, and he has been trying to promote tourism amongst the Pakistani diaspora to encourage them to visit Pakistan. Please.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I would like to tell you a little story. I will not talk about the beautiful and awesome places that are in Pakistan, because everyone has done that. As what you were telling, I've been raised here. I've been here since like I was maybe 3 or 4 years old. My father came here in the late 60s when the first wave of Pakistani and Turkish people came to the north, not only Denmark but to Scandinavia. And a few years after, the rest of the family came with us. I have a few brothers and sisters that were born here afterwards. So I've been raised here. I've been here through the Danish school system, through education, and now I work with. I've been working with technology, with IT, and today my living is gaming and esports. What I experienced here, being raised in Denmark as a second generation kid, was that through my life, I've heard my father talk about this specific northern area in Pakistan, which was supposed to be beautiful, and supposed to be awesome, and supposed to be heaven on earth. That's how we got to know of this area. And for my family, throughout the years, we actually prioritized to take a trip to Pakistan. So while we were youngsters, we went to Pakistan once every year. When I got married, I have kids of my own now, so we also travel to Pakistan once or twice every year. But it's the same thing that happens every time, every year, every trip, is that you, as a Dane with Pakistani roots, so to say, we visit the same 3 cities, we visit the same 4 families, and then our vacation is done. Then we just come back. And you know, the 3 weeks, the first week, it's standard. It's always bad stomach, so we don't go anywhere the first week. And the next 2 weeks, you know, we have to visit 1 family and 2, and if you don't visit the 3rd family, then you have a problem. So we basically never got to see Pakistan. That was a big problem for me, because I had this big desire to see Pakistan not just a few cities, not just Lahore, not just Punjab, not just Islamabad. I wanted to get out and see. I wanted to see the nature. I wanted to see the mountains. I wanted to see a huge culture that Pakistan actually has to offer. So I went building this eager inside me. And when I became adult and I got some money, I started to talk with friends to make this trip. And over the years, every time we sat down, we talked about this. Yeah, we will do it, and we'll do it next year. And whenever I came up with something specific, they just had something that was, it wasn't possible. Maybe next year. And that's how year after year went along, and we didn't do anything. So in 2019, I just kind of got tired of all the my language bullshit talk. So I basically planned a trip to the northern area by myself. I didn't reach out to any tour planners or anyone else. I just did it myself with some help from my friends in Pakistan. And I organized a trip mostly from myself because I wanted to see these areas. But I also went out on social media and invited anyone to be a part of it. So we actually we were 6 people that took the trip in August in 2019, and we didn't know each other. So 14 days very close together was also a consideration I had in my head with people you don't know. But what we experienced was, now this is a small, I will try not to make this a long story, but what we experienced was, first of all, we were a bit nervous because, as other people have told today, there is some stories of security. That was a concern. We also were concerned about our health because going to Pakistan, generally in the cities, you have to be a bit aware of the water and stuff like that because our bodies we don't have that anti stuff within as you have in Pakistan. So there were a lot of things that we were worried about, we were afraid about, and basically everything was not an issue. The security was really good. People were very, very, they were not just helpful. They were there if you needed something. We were a bit surprised that the common Pakistani we knew from the cities was not the Pakistani we met in the areas. It was a very, very friendly area. It was a very secure area. We were also surprised, even at that time, that the infrastructure was actually working for us. We didn't have to struggle to get from one place to another. We were also surprised about the accommodation, which we were expecting to go out and dig holes, but we didn't need to do that. It was really good. So basically, very short, the experience we had going to Pakistan. And mind you, there were 2 Danes with us. The rest were with the Pakistani background here. We decided to do this once every year for the next 6-7 years. So we did plan this trip for 2020 and 21 also, but we didn't get to go because of the pandemic, Corona. Instead, last year we went on a bus trip by road by Europe instead because we couldn't go to Pakistan. But we have planned this for next year at the end of August, the last week in August and the first week in September. And we do that because then we will be past the monsoon, and we will also probably pass Hajj and other general challenges that can be. Now we have a group of like 1,600 people here in Denmark, mostly with Pakistani background, all with the same dream, with the same desire, the same wish to see and visit and experience Pakistan in a way that we are not used to. So hopefully we will be able to do this for the next many years. And I'm really happy to see that official Pakistan is also reaching out, because there are some basic issues we need to address here. One of them you already have addressed with the visa. It was not easy for us to obtain visa in 2019, but it did work. And the other thing we got into a bit of a trouble with is trying to connect the flight from here to Islamabad and further on either to Shandur and Gilgit. That was not as easy either. So we ended up going by road from Islamabad to the area. And then we had a flight back from Shandur to Islamabad. And that was the same problem because we didn't actually have the chance to make the connection really effective. So we lost 1 day of the travel just to make the flight back. So there are some issues I hope that we can address and that we can work on. But as everyone else had my own experience, and this was the first time I was in that area. It was so beautiful. It was so filled with experience. And even though we went around in 14 days, I think there's enough to see and to experience in that area for the next 10 years. It's huge, it's beautiful, and it's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other observations, comments, questions? Yes, please.
Roosted from Politiken. I didn't catch the number. I think that it was Mr. Sabir that mentioned 1.2 million tourists yearly. Was that in 2019 before the pandemic? And if yes, where do the tourists come from? And do you have the number of Danes that are visiting Pakistan yearly again before the pandemic? Maybe Mr. Bunde has the number of Danes. I don't know.
No.
You don't. Okay.
I think what Mr. Nazir was mentioning was the number of domestic tourists.
Domestic tourists.
Domestic tourists, from within Pakistan, traveling for tourism purposes. It's hard to give an exact number. I mean, we are issuing on average about these days 50 visas every month. So that would mean, I mean, some of them are people of Pakistani heritage, but then there are also ethnic Danes that are traveling still. Even I was a bit surprised because we have to prepare like a monthly report on tourism. The number of visas is one of the areas that we mentioned in that. That despite the pandemic, people are still traveling. So we hope that once we different tour operators they promote Pakistan as one of the tourist destinations, and travel becomes more open. I mean, people are not scared because of the pandemic. We expect to see a higher number of tourists travel to Pakistan from them.
Is there an official number of tourists,
Yes.
foreign tourists,
Yes.
visited Pakistan before the pandemic?
The number I was mentioning, I mean, is very current for the last month.
Yeah.
We issued about 50 tourist visas.
I mean, foreign tourists in
Foreign-
general.
Yes.
In general, before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic,
Not Danes, but from all over the
from
world.
all over the world, I would say close to 1 million people are there.
Thank you.
So that includes from every country. Well, I would like to thank all of you, those who are present here at the embassy, as well as those who have joined us virtually. I think we had a very good discussion, and as I mentioned in the beginning, we plan to organize further events, that would focus on other regions of Pakistan, other aspects of tourism. So we hope that it would be informative, both from understanding Pakistan as well as looking into the business opportunities. Thank you very much.